At the restaurant, my mom said, "Annabelle, find another table. This one's for family, not adopted girls." Everyone laughed, then handed me the $3,270 bill. I smiled and paid, then a voice behind me said, "Just a moment, please." The receipt hits the bar in front of me at 8:47 p.m. 3 diets, 170 14s. I stare at it long enough that the bartender shifts his weight, clearly uncomfortable. 31 entrees, 4 bottles of imported wine, a custom 3-tier cake with gold leaf frosting that I watched my mother, the woman who chose me, she always said, order with the same casual confidence she uses when she hires housekeepers. All of it on my card, the one I put on file 6 weeks ago for the deposit. I don't look up right away. I already know who did it. I already know the exact expression she's wearing, that thin, satisfied smile that never quite reaches her eyes. The smile she saves for moments like this one, moments designed to remind me of my place. Music, my name is Annabelle Reyes Whitmore. I'm 27 years old. Tonight is my mother's 60th birthday dinner, and by the time the dessert plates are cleared, 22 years of careful, elegant cruelty are going to be exposed in front of every single person in this room. I pick up the bill. I read every line, then I set it down, open my wallet, and I pay it, all of it. 20% tip on top, because I know what's already in motion. Let me back up. I was 5 years old when Patricia and Gerald Whitmore adopted me from a foster care group home in Savannah, Georgia. That's the version they told at dinner parties, the charitable version, delivered with the practiced warmth of people who understood the social value of a good story. The version they told me was different. "We gave you a life," my mother Patricia said once when I was 9 and had committed the crime of asking why I couldn't go on the family vacation to Cabo. "Do you understand what you would have been without us? Do you have any idea?" I didn't answer. I'd already learned not to. Gerald Whitmore was a corporate attorney. Patricia ran a non-profit, Bridges of Hope, which raised money for foster care advocacy, which I always thought had a particular dark humor to it. They had 2 biological children, my brother Colt, 24, and my sister Reese, 22. Both of them had Patricia's bone structure, Gerald's confidence, and a shared unspoken understanding that I was something different in the house, not lesser. They were too sophisticated for that word, just different, a category unto myself. They never hit me, never screamed. Patricia, especially, was smarter than that. Her cruelty was architectural. It was built into the structure of daily life so seamlessly, music, that I spent years wondering if I was imagining it. The family photos on the mantle, 3, not 4. The birthday dinners where my chair was at the corner of the table, half in the hallway. The college fund Gerald set up for Colton and Reese that I found out about accidentally at age 16 when I overheard a phone call I wasn't supposed to hear. The way Patricia would introduce me at events, music, and "This is Annabelle. She's been with us since she was 5. Been with us like staff. Like a piece of furniture that had simply been around for a long time." I told myself it was nothing. For years I told myself it was nothing. I was wrong. The thing about surviving that kind of environment is that you either fall apart or you get precise. I got precise. I put myself through college on scholarships, music, and 2 part-time jobs. Accounting degree from the University of Georgia, graduated magna laude, then a CPA license, then a job at a mid-size forensic accounting firm in Atlanta. The kind of place that gets called in when companies suspect fraud, when estates get contested, when money has gone somewhere it shouldn't have gone. My supervisor, a woman named Dr. Renata Bloom, 15 years in forensic accounting, previously with the IRS Criminal Investigations Division, told me in my first year that I had an unusual gift for pattern recognition in financial documents. "Most people look at a spreadsheet and see numbers," she said. "You look at it and see a story." She was right. I always had. Which is why 8 months ago, when my grandmother, Patricia's mother, Nana June, called me crying at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night, I listened very carefully to everything she said. Nana June was 81, sharp as a tack as she liked to, music, say. She'd been going through paperwork after a minor health scare, trying to get her affairs in order, and she'd found something that didn't make sense. "There's money missing, Annabelle," she said, "from the account your grandfather left you." I went still. "What account, Nana?" She told me. My hands didn't shake. They went completely cold. My biological parents died when I was 4. I don't have memories of them, just a photograph that came with me from the foster home, creased down the middle, a young couple squinting into the sun somewhere that looked like a beach. What I didn't know, what I had never been told, was that they had life insurance. Not a fortune, but not nothing either. Combined policies, modest savings, a small property that had been sold, all of it designated for me, held in a custodial account managed by the Whitmore family until I turned 21. I was 27. I had never seen a single dollar of it. Nana June had found the original documentation in a box of her late husband's papers. She'd spent 3 weeks quietly going through statements, saying nothing to anyone before she called me. The account balance at the time of transfer to the Whitmore family's management, $218,000. The account balance when I turned 21, 0. I didn't sleep that night. I lay on my back in my apartment and stared at the ceiling and did the thing I'd been trained to do. I started building the story in my head. Pattern recognition, financial narrative, the shape of where money goes when someone doesn't want it found. The next morning I called Dr. Bloom. "Tell me everything," she said. I did. She was quiet for a moment, then, "You know you can't work your own case." "I know, but you know someone who can." "I was hoping you might." She referred me to a colleague, a forensic accountant named David Marsh, CPA, and certified fraud examiner, who had spent 11 years doing exactly this kind of work. He was methodical, meticulous, and blessedly unimpressed by wealthy families with good reputations. He took the case. Over the next 6 months, David pulled every document he could legally access: bank records, trust account statements, tax filings, music, property transactions. Nana June, who had become quietly, furiously determined, gave him access to everything she had. What emerged was not pretty. $214,000 received into the custodial account in 2001. First withdrawal, music, March 2002, $18,000, cross-referenced with a renovation of the Whitmore home's kitchen. Subsequent withdrawals over 9 years, regular, varied in size, always with legitimate-looking memos that corresponded to absolutely nothing in my life. Private school tuition for Colt, a boat registered to Gerald, a medical procedure for Patricia that I will not name, but that ran $22,000 and was not covered by insurance. By the time I turned 21 and the account should have been transferred to me, it had been empty for 4 years. Patricia had, music, never mentioned it. Gerald had never mentioned it. No lawyer had ever contacted me. The money had simply ceased to exist as far as I was concerned because no one had ever told me it existed in the first place. David emailed me on a Thursday morning, subject line, Exhibit Summary, Whitmore Account Analysis. I read his music, it twice, then I forwarded it to the attorney Nana June had quietly retained, a woman named Claire Okafor, who specialized in estate litigation, music, and had a reputation apparently for being completely unmovable when she decided to take a case. Claire called me the same afternoon. "This is solid," she said. "Civil fraud, potentially criminal, depending on how the DA wants to look at it." "When?" "Music?" I asked. She paused. "When do you want to do this?" "My mother has a 60th birthday dinner in 6 weeks," I said. 30, music, guests, her entire social circle. Another pause, this one longer. "Annabelle," she said carefully, "you understand we can file this properly through normal channels. I know this doesn't need to be a performance." "I know, music, that, too." She was quiet for a moment. "What do you want from this?" I thought about the corner chair, the family photos with 3 faces, the way she said "been with us," like I was a houseplant that had survived. "Music, I want her to have to say it out loud," I said, in front of everyone she spent 30 years performing for. "I want there to be no version of the story she can control." Claire Okafor took a very slow breath. "Then, I'll be there." 6 weeks later, I drive to Bacchanalia, the nicest restaurant in Atlanta, which Patricia chose for her own party with typical subtlety. And I valet the car and I walk inside and I find my place card. It's not at the main table. Of course it's not. It's at a small two-top near the from the family table by 2 other parties who have nothing to do with us. I stand there for a moment and look at it. Annabelle, in Patricia's handwriting, cream-colored cardstock. Colt is already seated at the main table. He doesn't look at me. He's on his phone, music, tie loosened. Reese waves with the reflexive politeness of someone who has learned to treat me as background radiation. Gerald is talking to someone I don't recognize. Patricia is holding court at the center of the table, wearing a dress I know costs more than my first month's rent. She's laughing. She looks radiant. This is where she's, music, best, in a room full of people who think they know her, who hand back to her the version of herself she has spent decades constructing. She sees me. The smile doesn't change, not in any way that anyone else could identify, but I know it. I've always known it. Annabelle. She says my name like she's reminding me of something. You're over there, sweetheart. We didn't have room at the table. You understand? Of course, I say. I sit at my two-top. A waiter brings me water. I order sparkling because I decide that tonight I'm going to do every small thing I want to do. The dinner proceeds. Patricia gives a toast. Gerald gives a toast that makes several people visibly tear up. Colt says something funny that I can hear from across the room and that earns him a wave of warm laughter. Reese toasts her mother to music, with the specific tenderness of a daughter who has always been loved without qualification. I watch. I eat my food, which is excellent. I keep my phone face down on the table. At some point during the main course, Patricia stands up again. She has a particular energy when she wants to make a speech, a kind of expansive warmth that fills the room and makes everyone turn toward her like sunflowers. I want to say something, she starts, and the room quiets. I want to say something about family and about what it means to build one. I set down my fork. Gerald and I always believed that family is a choice, she continues. That love is a practice, not just a feeling. And when we were given the opportunity to open our home to a child who had lost everything, she pauses and several people glance toward me, the way they do when they already know the story and are watching for the emotional beat. We did it because it was right, because some children don't have anyone and we believed we could give her a life. Music, she says her, not my name. Her. Her parents, another pause, this one calibrated, a little sad. They were young. There wasn't much. We did what we could. I look at her directly. She holds my gaze for exactly 1 second, then she looks back at her audience. To family, she says, raising her glass. To family, 30 people repeat. I do not raise my glass. 20 minutes, music, later, the bartender sets a leather folder on the table in front of me. The party asked us to run the tab to your card on file, he says. He has the grace to look uncomfortable about it. I'm sorry. They said you'd authorized it. I open the folder. $3,270.14. I sit with it for a moment. I think about the March 2002 withdrawal, $18,000 for a kitchen renovation. I think about the boat. I think about the medical procedure. I think about a 4-year-old's life insurance policy carefully, methodically drained over 9 years. I think about the word authorized. I almost laugh. I take out my card. I pay the bill. I tip 20% on top because the server had nothing to do with any of this and has a job to do. Then I stand up. I'm reaching for my jacket when I hear her voice. Just a moment, please. It's not Patricia's voice. It's Nana June's. She doesn't stand up the way old women stand up in movies, slowly, effortfully, requiring assistance. She stands up the way she has always done things, which is simply, directly, without announcement. 81 years old, and she rises from her chair at the main table like she's been waiting for this exact moment because she has. The room turns toward her. Claire Okafor stands beside her. I knew she was here. She texted me when she arrived in position, but seeing her standing there in person, briefcase at her side, is something different than knowing it abstractly. She's exactly what she looks like, someone who has been in rooms like this before and has never lost. Nana June, Patricia starts. Patricia. Nana June says her daughter's name with a particular gentleness that silences the room completely. I love you. I have always loved you. What I'm about to do, I'm doing because it's right. I need you to understand that before I do it. Patricia's face, and I want to record this. I want to keep music, this. Her face does something I have never seen it do before. The control slips. Just for a second. Something underneath it, raw and young and frightened, flickers up to the surface. Then she recovers. Mother, whatever this is, my son-in-law's colleague Patricia has just told this room that Annabelle's biological parents left her nothing. Nana June's voice is steady and clear. That their family stepped in out of charity. That there was no money. She looks at Claire. Claire. Claire opens the briefcase. My name is Claire Okafor, she says to the room. I'm an estate litigation attorney. I've been retained by June Whitmore in connection with the custodial account established in 2001 for the benefit of Annabelle Reyes following the death of her biological parents. The room doesn't move. The account was established with a balance of $214,000 comprised of life insurance proceeds and liquidated assets belonging to Annabelle's biological parents and designated for her sole benefit. Patricia is very still. The account was placed under the management of Patricia and Gerald Whitmore until Annabelle's 21st birthday. Claire sets documents on the table, copies because the originals are in David Marsh's files, organized into 18 labeled folders. The following withdrawals were identified through forensic analysis of account records, cross-referenced against the Whitmore family's documented expenses. She reads from a list, not quickly, not for drama, though drama is what it becomes. She reads carefully, precisely, the way she would read in a courtroom. March 2002, $18,400. Kitchen renovation, 14, Sycamore Drive, November 2003, $22,000. Medical procedure, Patricia Whitmore, August 2005, $31,000. Private school tuition, Colt Whitmore, August 2007, $28,500. Private school tuition, Colt Whitmore, June 2008, $14,800. Purchase of a 2008 Bayliner boat registered to Gerald Whitmore, September 2009, $19,200. Private school tuition, Reese Whitmore, every year. Every year until the account was empty. Colt has stopped looking at his phone. Reese has both hands flat on the table. Gerald is staring at a fixed point somewhere above Claire's head. Patricia has not moved. Total documented withdrawals, $197,400 over a period of 9 years. The remaining balance was depleted by account management fees charged to an institution that we subsequently discovered does not exist. Claire closes the folder. The account held $0 when Annabelle turned 21. She was never informed of its existence. The room is silent. Then Patricia. She stands up. This is completely fabricated. Her voice is calm. This is the version of her I've always feared most. Not the icy dismissal, but the warm, reasonable, let's all be adults steadiness. Mother, I don't know who put you up to this, but these documents, music, have your signature on them. Nana June says simply, are clearly, Patricia. Nana June doesn't raise her voice. She never has to. I have every withdrawal authorization, your handwriting, your signature. I had them independently verified by a document examiner. She pauses. I am not confused. I am not being manipulated. I found this and I chose to do something about it, and I need you to stop talking now. Patricia stops talking. The woman to her left, one of her oldest friends, someone I've seen at a dozen Whitmore family events, leans very slightly away from her. It's almost imperceptible, but I see it. Additionally, Claire continues, June Whitmore has, as of this month, revised her estate documents. Annabelle Reyes Whitmore is named as a primary beneficiary. She closes the briefcase. I'll leave these copies for anyone who'd like to review them. The originals are filed with the court. A civil complaint has been filed in Fulton County. Gerald and Patricia Whitmore have been served. Gerald looks up for the first time. Served, he says. His voice sounds like he's testing whether words still work. We've been when? This afternoon, Claire says. Your attorneys will have received notification. Patricia turns to look at me. I'm still standing near the bar. I haven't moved. I have my jacket in my hands, and I realize I've been gripping it hard enough that my knuckles are white, and I make myself let go. She looks at me the way she looked at me when I was 9 years old and asked why I couldn't go to Cabo. Like I'm something she's calculating. Like she's deciding which version of this story she can still salvage. Annabelle, she says. Don't, music, I say. It comes out quieter than I intended, and steadier. You don't understand everything that went into raising, I said don't. She closes her mouth. Patricia, Nana June says, and she doesn't say anything else. Just her name. Just the name she gave her 60 years ago. An entire conversation in a single word. Patricia sits down. The room fragments after that. I watch it happen the way you watch a car accident in slow motion. Not because you want to, but because your brain won't let you look away. The guests at the table who came for a birthday dinner are now sitting inside a public legal proceeding, and they're doing what people do in that situation. They're recalibrating, recategorizing, deciding what they now know about a woman they thought they knew completely. One of the men at the table, Gerald's business partner, a name I know from the family Christmas cards, excuses himself and goes outside. He doesn't come back. Reese is crying. Not from grief, I don't think, or not only that. From the specific disorienting horror of having her childhood recontextualized in real time. The private school that was paid for with money that belonged to me. The years she spent in a house where the girl at the corner of the table was being systematically robbed. Colt isn't crying. Colt is looking at his mother with an expression I have no name for. Nana June comes to find me at the bar. She moves through the wreckage of the dinner with the unhurried dignity of someone who has made their decision and is at peace with it. She takes both my hands in hers. "I'm sorry it took me so long," she says. I shake my head. I don't trust my voice. "I should have looked sooner. I should have." She stops, presses my hands harder. "You were always ours, Annabelle, from the first day. I need you to know that I knew that." I managed, music, to say, "I know, Nana." She holds my gaze for a moment. Then she nods like we've settled something and she lets go. 3 months later, the civil case is moving through Fulton County. David Marsh's forensic analysis has been submitted as expert testimony. 18 labeled folders, 340 pages, and, music, a spreadsheet that tells the story of 9 years of quiet theft with the cold precision of math. Gerald's law firm placed him on administrative leave pending the outcome. I didn't know they would do that. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Bridges of Hope, my mother's nonprofit, the one that raised money for foster care advocacy, launched an internal audit after 2 board members resigned following the dinner. The audit is ongoing. Reese called me. We talked for 40 minutes. Music, was painful and strange and neither of us knew what we were doing exactly, but she called and I picked up and I think that means something, even if I don't know what yet. Colt has not called. I still have the photograph, the one that came with me from the foster home, creased down the middle, a young couple at a beach squinting into the sun. I've had it my whole life and I've never known what beach it was, what year, what they were thinking when someone pointed a camera at them. I look at it differently now, not with more pain exactly, with more clarity. They left me something. They scraped together what they had and they put it in an account and they put my name on it and they probably thought, even as 20-somethings, even as people who had no reason to think they were going to die young, she should have this, whatever happens. It took 22 years, a forensic accountant, and an 81-year-old woman going through boxes in her basement on a Tuesday afternoon, but I got it. Not the money, though the civil case will resolve itself however it resolves itself. I mean the knowledge, the proof of what they did, the evidence that someone, before all of it, looked at a child who didn't exist yet and decided, music, she's worth something. My mother, Patricia, hasn't spoken to me since the dinner. That's fine. I don't have anything left to say to her either. But, Nana June calls every Sunday. We talk about her garden and my cases at work and occasionally about nothing at all. Last week, she told me that my biological mother's name was Rosa, that she'd found a letter years ago and kept it because she hadn't known what to do with it. "I'd like to give it to you," she said, "if you want it." "I want it," I said. It arrived on Wednesday in a small envelope with Nana June's handwriting on the front. I haven't opened it yet. I'm going to. I'm just not yet. Some things you hold for a moment before you let yourself have them. She called me Annabelle. My name written in ink in the handwriting of somebody who knew me before I knew anything. That's enough. For right now, that's enough.